I would say, hey, Cal,
Morning, everyone. If we could, bring our meeting to order. BOCC meeting of March 8, 2017. Dallas, could you please do a roll?
Mr. Thayer. Here. Mr. Richardson. Here. Mr. Wilcox.
Here. And for the prayer and pledge today, Pastor Roger Miller with our Christmas.
Trusting in the compassion of God, let us pray with confidence, as our Lord and Savior taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Let us join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started today, I'd like to bring something to your attention. We now are video and audio recording the whole meeting, and the audio that we have is pretty sensitive, so it will pick up conversations, it will pick up whispering, a lot of things that we're going to surprise. So that you're aware, we're currently doing that, and we intend on, I don't know if we'll get that done today, but it will be posted. Our plan is to have it posted pretty much immediately after we complete the meeting.
That's correct. We plan on having it posted by the end of the business day today.
Okay. The next thing is we've asked people who intend on speaking in the public comment section to sign in, and currently I have three people signed up. I have Mr. Hudick, Hudick Excavating, and I have Marlene Gross. Is there anybody else who is intent on speaking? Bill? Okay, if you could. Okay, we'll move on with the approval of the agenda. Folks, do we have any changes?
I move we approve the agenda as written.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now the consent agenda. We've got a number of items on the consent agenda. Can I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, next section, we have elected officials, department heads and staff reports. First one up is video and audio update on our meeting. So, Cal.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dallas Schroeder, clerk of the recorder. As you mentioned earlier, Commissioner Wilcox, we did meet our goal of having the videos and audios up and running by the March 8th meeting, and we will get those on the website. So that was a check mark. Several people worked on that. Jim Grote from IT, Sean was in here helping us as well, with billing, make sure the test run worked, and, the equipment is quite sensitive, and we do have the ability to adjust that, at least on the audio side, so, we'll continue to make fine tweaks with the audio side to make it as clear as we can, but just wanna let you know we met that goal.
Thanks, Dallas. Next, update on our, water study consultant contract.
Good morning, Commissioners, Aiden County Manager. I'd like to have Forrester present to you folks and just update you on how our workshop went, as well as address any contractual questions that you guys might have.
Good morning to the Commission. My name is Leif Lindahl with Forsgren Associates, the consultant carrying on the rural water study for the county. And to Mr. Raymond. As an update here for last week, as you might be aware, on the 27th of February, we conducted the workshop number 1, required as part of the workshop, as part of the rural water study. So that was held at the fairgrounds. And we do have, we had a sign-in sheet to which there were probably about 50 people roughly signed up, but we know that there were, looks like there were more than that in the building there as well. So it was a pretty good turnout overall. So what we did present, from our end, we did bring slides and showing just basically current progress to date with some of the work, and I believe you do have a packet in front of you for today as well, which is the basic slides from that presentation, as well as some of the other mapping type products that have been generated to this point here too. So the point of that particular workshop was to provide an update just in where we're at, the current work to date. We did provide a summary or a look ahead to tasks that are upcoming with that as well. And knowing that here at the end of the month, one of the major milestones, or a milestone for that, is to give you basically a 5-month update or a status report for it. So this is a 10-month contract as it stands right now. So this would be at that halfway point in that study, essentially. And as far as comments received during that meeting, we did have a box there. We stayed afterwards to answer questions. Some folks did provide some written comments to us, a couple particular questions that we can address here and work going forward. But all in all, it was pretty positive, and I do want to say that we'll have a good effort to have more outreach to some of the stakeholders and try to promote the future meetings as well, the other 2 workshops. Regarding other workshops, I reached out to Mr. Heyman regarding the scheduling for the next one, which is we're looking at April 10th for workshop number 2. So that's some correspondence back and forth to try and nail down a date for that. And then there'll be a 3rd workshop here later in the spring as well. Contractually, we have, we're working with Mr. Raymond on any changes that might come up, but at this point we're good with anything, and we don't anticipate any kind of changes of any kind. We don't notice, or we're not pursuing any changes to the contract. The scope of work is pretty well regulated in that, so we're moving forward with that. I don't have any particular needs at this point, but I am available for any questions you might have with what you have in your packet.
Okay.
Well, one, I appreciate you coming in. Brent and I weren't available last week for that, so I appreciate getting the slot in. Sure. And I guess as things are going on, it sounds like work's pretty much on schedule, and you're well within the funding that was allocated.
That's correct. We don't see any shortfalls right now. We're within the scope. There was a good amount of data gathering. Again, I'll give a big thank you to the Water Advisory Committee for helping out with doing a lot of the legwork associated with that, with our request for information. So we're still going through some of that information, but we always want to look ahead to see if we can get more out there too, to make this as comprehensive as possible.
Yeah, and I appreciate working the calendar with that, so all 3 of us can be there for these next workshops. So thanks.
Is there any, of this packet that was given to us, is there anything here that I should focus on that's, because one of the things that, the reason I'm asking the question, there's been a couple of citizens that have asked us if we would put this on our website, this stuff, and we've indicated the answer is yes. But I wanted to make sure that if I get a subsequent call where somebody asks a question, that I might have an answer for them. So if there's anything in here that we should focus on, I sure appreciate you pointing it out.
Okay, no, I don't have really any concerns right now. The slides that we did give you, just do want to caution that it's preliminary information, it's not a final study yet by any means. But as far as being able to post that to the public, I don't have any real concerns for you at this point.
And I think you're planning on posting it, is that correct?
Yeah, the information you folks have received, we will post on the website, and the document's marked draft, and all the pages are marked draft, so just keep that in mind. It also includes the maps that were presented that night as well.
Yeah, and I appreciate the fact that we weren't there. I appreciate the courtesy of letting us see it before even more on that. I know it was a public meeting. Thanks.
If there's any other comments you might have, or the public might have, as to how we might want to structure the second workshop, or anything else regarding other stakeholders for that, we're really open to those as well. Definitely hear those.
All right, thank you.
Gentlemen.
All right, next one, road and bridge wash-track.
Yes, so just for informational purposes, we deal with our equipment on a regular basis in road and bridge, especially during the winter time, snow removal is required. Keep that equipment clean as part of our inspection process as well, and part of the maintenance program. Up to this point, road and bridge has been washing these vehicles by hand, and with a fire hose, and it's taken four employees 3 to 6 hours a vehicle to wash them. And it created, in the wintertime, it created ice, it created splashbacks, different things like that, and took up a large amount of time. The staff, the road and bridge staff, constructed what they call a wash rack, which reduced the time from 3 to 6 hours down to 30 minutes a vehicle, and reduced the manpower requirements from 4 employees down to 2 employees. It's anticipated that there was less than $3,000 spent on the project, and it's anticipated that its payback will be within the first 6 to 8 washes, which we've already completed. So just kind of a heads up and kind of notification to let you guys know that the staff is out there looking for ways to be more efficient and improve the operations. The biggest concern here was the safety concern of how we had to wash those vehicles just to perform our daily maintenance of them.
Thanks, Dave. Tom? All right, anybody else have any comments from elected officials? Anybody else? Okay, at this point, we go into the open public comment. Now, this is the part where you can actually participate and comment on any subject. Later opportunities will come for comment and discussion and action items, but this is specific. This time is related to anything specific in the county or issue. So, on our list, first of all, first one on here is Mr. Hudick.
Great, I have to be first.
Well, sir. Sorry, Bill.
All right, now, I thought I signed my name at the bottom of that sheet. Okay, Abraham Lincoln said you can remain silent and be thought a fool, or you can open your mouth and remove all doubt, so get in here. My notes. I'm Bill Hudick. I'm one of the partners in Hudick Excavating. We have got the mining rights to the Elbert gravel pit down here, which I picked up as a smooth businessman just in time for the economic crash of 2008. And my younger partners there, that at this point I've just got a fractional interest in this company, they want to de-acquisition that pit. So in my own selfish little world, I'd like to see the county take it up because I drive on these roads. We're asking $18,000 for the mining rights. I need about another 70 loads of material out of there for my own uses. farm to market back in the 40s. What gravel there was came from random small deposits wherever they found them. Gravel does wear out just like the tires on your car. You see a car running down the road with a rooster tail of dust behind it, that's the rim full of the car or the truck wearing out the gravel surface. Those little sources of gravel are gone. Now, the Elbert County Road and Bridge, in my opinion, has done a pretty good job of trying to keep up with the population increase and the road wear that goes with it. But in spite of that, you're seeing these roads getting wore out with the population increase. And sometimes when this stuff gets wet, you know what it's like. A motor grader will put a finish on whatever material is out there, but it does not make gravel. And if you got a nice finish on dry soil or clay, you know what happens when that gets wet. Road and Bridge of Elbert County has got the fondest pit. And I've gotten a couple of comments from folks down there. One of the things that has been said to me is, well, we got that material for free because we own the ground, so what do we want a bit further west than Elbert? If you start studying the records, you're going to find out that the freight only from that fondest pit westbound just to the town of Elbert is about $4.50 a ton. Further west you go, the worse it gets. One of the other comments that was made to me was, well, the county's got a policy that goes back way back when, that all we pay for gravel is the royalty is 50 cents a ton to landowners. So I guess by that reckoning, you should be able to buy bananas down at Castle Rock for what you pay for them in Ecuador. Right now, if you go east of Matheson, the last comp I pulled up shows land for $585 an acre. Anybody on the west?
You'll have to get to the end point, you've only got about 8 seconds left.
Okay, 8 seconds, okay. Well, I'm open for questions. I didn't mean to blather on, so that's how this works. I apologize, I'm an amateur. So fold it up now if anybody wants to speak to me later. These guys, I'm in the book here, I'll give you my email. So,
Thanks for
Bill,
working with us.
take into consideration of that.
yeah, they let me run over. I was afraid Shane might.
You're safe, we don't allow him to have bullets.
Okay, next comment, we have Marlene Gross.
Good morning, Commissioners. Merlin Gross, 33 Freetown Ridge Road. And I just wanted to follow up, we had a lot of discussion during the campaign about transparency, and we've had a lot of efforts moving forward with that, to which we've all kind of given our applause and, thank yous. Had a nice little chat with Chairman Wilcox the other day, but we also talked about the word culture. And I think that culture and the transparency fit side by side. I think for us to get to full transparency, the culture has to be sort of in levels. We have the first level achieved with the willingness to be open and transparent, sitting with leaders in the county. The next level, I think, is for the elected officials and managers within the county. Don't think we're there yet, but I applaud those of you who are working at it. And the third level is for the staff. So when it trickles down all the way, we'll be transparent. And that's what I'm looking forward to see. And I thank you for the efforts moving the culture in that direction.
Next one on the list, we've got Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris.
Don't start the clock yet, I'm
No.
You know, we used to make fun of the old people, and one day I turned around and I was one. I am, I don't know about you.
You don't know what old is.
My name's Bill Harris, 808 Caribou, Sentinel, Colorado. We talk about transparency and all, and what's the matter with honesty and integrity in the reporting media? We look at the Elbert County Criticizer and see a great lack of truth in some of these articles that are in the Ranchland Rag and all the rest of the papers. First off, I was at the water meeting. They, certain people, tried to take over the meeting, disrupt the meeting. Mr. Egan, I think he did a fantastic job and was very courteous to put the meeting back in order, because we came over to listen to the people at the workshop, not to listen to some other people and their gripes. So I just want to appreciate what Ed has done and what he's doing for our county. And then the next one is our sheriff's department. They just had for the first time, a fundraiser. All the criticizers of the sheriff's department, how much do we want to help the sheriff's department? No, they didn't show up. They're too busy. But I understand that the fundraiser was a success, and I do appreciate our sheriff's department, and I support our men and women that are willing to put their lives on the line for $10 or $15 or $20,000 a year and get shot at. So these men and women need to be reinforced and told how much we appreciate their work. And for our elected officials and our county employees, they don't need to be beat on every day in some way, shape, or form. They're doing a good job. They could get more money over in Douglas County. They could get more money in Arapahoe County. They could get more money in El Paso County. But yet, they really take a lot of abuse in Elbert County. And I appreciate these men and women willing to do their job and willing to do the work that's required of them to make this county a successful county. And I appreciate our Board of County Commissioners, even though you called me old. I'm ancient. But they do a good job. And they're not afraid to answer our questions when we go to them and ask them, what about this and that? They do a good job. And I appreciate the work that you gentlemen do. And I don't appreciate the abuse that you will be getting, more so later on, because certain people's not going to like what you do, or the way you say it, or the way you comb your hair. There's always got to be a problem. And so I just want to let you know, there's still some in this county. She's got the beaver. There's some in this county that appreciate your work. Thank you. Thank you for lady.
Hey, as Jenny said earlier, the new camera is pretty sensitive, and I would appreciate if we could keep any side conversations down in the audience. Thanks.
All right, next person we have Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Commissioner. What I have to say, I think, dovetails with Marlene's comments. I think transparency in Elbert County at the moment is a good news, bad news story. The good news is the commissioners. I think you are trying to inculcate values of transparency into the county, in the county government. There is a question of culture, however. My personal experience at the February 27th meeting, the water meeting, which I think was run in an orderly fashion. I have no problem with the way Forsgren presented their information. However, I think with respect to the transparency, it was apparent to me from my own experience, the county manager at that point had simple, whether some simple information will be put up on the website. One was the information presented at the meeting. Now, it was characterized as a draft. Something that's been already presented to the public cannot properly be framed as a draft. I also asked about the March 31st status report, which was also characterized as a draft, even though it hasn't even been prepared yet. You know, this is not, these are bureaucratic dodges, and I think we need to instruct the county manager accordingly. Now, I understand, Commissioner Wilcox, you've been very open with me. You disagree with my characterization, but I and others that were there feel that it was accurate. I know what I heard. I know the demeanor that I saw. The other point I'd like to make, Commissioner Wilcox has informed me that you're looking at revising the Cora policy, which implements the Colorado Records Act. I think when you do so, you should be looking at the fact that that policy does not accommodate the state law statute's provision that requires readily accessible materials to be made available immediately. And when you're looking at modification, and I'm sure I'll have comments on it when we see it, there's a draft provision, you should be looking at that aspect of it as well. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, with that, any other public comment? Okay, we'll move on to the next topic, and our discussion items, and the first topic on our discussion item is Mr. Rosales, the Planning Commission. Can you give us an update on the Planning Commission? How are you?
Great.
Well, while Dan's walking up there, this is going to be the first of several of these committee body updates to the Board of County Commissioners. And we appreciate you being our lead person on this. But one of the things that I think all three of us have very strong feelings about is that if we're going to have these committees and we're going to have people of talent staffing these committees, we need to hear what they have to say. And now I've said too much.
I'm Dan Rosales, Chair of the Albert County Planning Commission, and I appreciate the opportunity to come and report what we're doing and where we hope we're going in the future. The Planning Commission met with a design workshop on February 21st in our first kickoff meeting for the comprehensive plan. It was attended also by the newly appointed Citizen Task Force. We have been working with design workshop via teleconferencing over the past few weeks. As a result of that effort, we've been able to move many of the activities in building the tools to be used for the comprehensive plan. We have been able to move them up as much as 60 days. So that really is going to help us a lot. One of our primary accomplishments was the development of the comprehensive plan website, which will be used as the communication center of the project. It will be used to let citizens know about upcoming events, provide summaries of past meetings, post calendars of activities, conduct surveys, provide access to documentation, and provide status reports. The new website is now online and available to all citizens at www.albertcountycomplan.com. And any of you who have not had an opportunity to see that, please go on the website. It's a pretty neat
One, the rewrite regulations, I think it is very important. Some of them are aging, and from my time on the planning commission, some were in conflict, but I would just say the purpose of rewriting our regulations is not to make it easier on the staff, it's to make it easier for people who own land to use their land as they would like, or in order to make the most benefit of their land. They're affecting the public much more than the staff. But on the master plan, as part of the citizens task force, we had a pretty good meeting, and then we talked quite a bit about value, and we discussed this too, that, you know, success in this master plan is really gonna be defined by the fact that when it's all over, everybody that wanted to have a voice had a voice, that nobody is surprised at the end of the process that there was master planning or comprehensive planning going on. We're not all going to agree in this county on everything. That's probably the one thing we can agree on. I mean, that was demonstrated earlier today. We had two very different views presented by the public of the same issue. We're not always going to agree. Disagreement doesn't mean there's any disrespect going on, and we're never going to please everybody. We recognize that. So I appreciate the job you're taking on. There's quite a bit going on. During the 2 years I was on the planning commission, I think we considered 3 or 4 applications, and those were small special use things. I know things are ramping up as the economy gets better. That 21-year-old master plan is way too old. Yeah, I know there's been parts of it updated, but I think this refreshing of it is really neat.
Well, in the master plan, when you look at citizens, and I've talked to a bunch of them, we have so many different points of view. We in the planning commission, I don't care what we finally come out with, there's going to be some people that are going to be upset. We hope that that's minimized, but many of the views that citizens have conflict with each other, so therefore we can't satisfy 100%. So all we can do is be as transparent and fair and get as much input as we can. And if we've done that, then we've done our job.
I would like to make a couple comments. One is that Kyle and myself have been seeing some of the critical items that need to be updated. So you're going to be seeing them come over and you're going to say, where did these come from? That's, I think it's 6 or 7 of them that we've identified as individual items. And some of them go back. I spent 14 years on the planning commission, 12 of it as chairman, and we're still trying to solve problems that we had. This is almost 20 years ago. So I hope that you don't say, oh, when you start seeing these things drop on your desk, because we need your guidance in terms of the approval. One other comment I wanted to make, and really this is kind of a feel-good comment. The master plan to me is the heart and soul of county government, or county planning and zoning. But the planning commission and staff are the hands that make it work. And I think you've got a lot of good hands. We're supposed to clap.
Dan, thank you. Okay, next one on the agenda, appointments policy. I think we're quite fit.
I think planning commission, in a couple of weeks, we'll have the library board in. We need to speak with the WAC and as well as the fair board. Those are kind of the substantial appointments we want to make, or that we're responsible for making. So making sure that we've got, you know, a good handle on what all those bodies do, who they do them for, what regulations support them is critical before we finish up the policy.
The fair board will be the next one that we look at, so we get them in time so they can plan for the fair. So it's coming up. Okay? Good. Okay, next one. Strategic plan and the countywide organizational adjustments. This is due in part to we're looking at our strategic plan throughout the county. Now, our strategic plan also contains mission, your vision, your values, and then your priorities and objectives throughout the county. We're looking at that as a package, but this specifically is related, what we're showing you here is to our organizational chart. So, with that, Ed?
We've projected the organizational chart on the wall there, and it just identifies some of our changes in the overall county structure. This is in conjunction with discussions that have taken place at different levels throughout the county, and you guys as well as the board. So I'll just point out the major changes in this at this point, and I'll disclose right up front that you'll see many of the positions in here, or several of the key positions are open, and those positions are open and are not funded at this time, other than a couple of them, and I'll identify them as we go through it. But we're starting at the top with the Board of County Commissioners and the elected officials, and then we drop down and you have the county attorney, and you have the public information officer. That's an open position. It's also a change in the structure for that position. That position was previously noted on down below the county manager, but now is changed to be a go-between between commissioners, county manager, things like that. Then as you move down, Office of Emergency Management was previously under the elected office of the sheriff. It'll be now under the county manager. We created a new position as assistant county manager for the administration side. You'll notice that position is open, and then as we'll go down from there, but as we go through that process, you'll have finance, budget, payroll, information technology, and then GIS mapping, which is also a change from an elected position or elected office of the assessor. Will now fall under the county manager, and then answer to the information technology department. On the other side of it, you have your human resources and then your building division. And the building division is a change. It's currently under the community development services, which is currently under the Board of County Commissioners. So that the change there is causing separation or separating the building department from planning and zoning. And that was something that was done, that's how it functioned in Elbert County many years ago. It was combined when we went into the downturn, and it was combined to try to keep consolidate dollars and operate at the same level of service. Underneath the building division is compliance, and we don't have that program structured at this point. We'll start to structure that. What does that mean? Is it code compliance, and how does it operate, and policies and procedures that need to be developed, and the structure for that. But that position is open. And then we have the assistant, or the asset fleet and fleet management position, which is an open position. However, that position was funded and is budgeted in the current 2017 budget. We'll go back up to the assistant county manager on the public works side, and really this structure is to create separation between the administration and operations. And I think separation is probably the wrong word to use. It's just to create the administration side of operations and the operational side of operations. So you have the public works side of things, where the community development services would fall under the public works, or the assistant county manager under the public works. And the reason for that is, and it's very common to see in the structure, is you have the planning and zoning that takes place, and then you have the folks that actually have to maintain the infrastructure, the road and bridge, and the facility guys, so they can all coordinate, and it brings some continuity back to the development and the county itself. Under community development services, we have economic development, and this is very similar to our compliance, our code compliance. You know, we need to put that program together. We need to decide where we want to go with economic development. What does that mean? You know, and how does it function within the county? Road and bridge is the same as it is today, and then facilities and fairgrounds is the same. And the structure throughout the rest of the chart here is the same as it is today. So you know, you have human and health services, human services and public health are two separate departments. And then you have the CSU extension office. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Want me to go any further? I can.
Good.
Ready for your comments?
One, this reflects, there are a lot of discussions that took place literally cut, pasted, moved around on this organizational chart.
I wore a pair of scissors.
Yeah, as we work through it, but kind of one of the things on this chart is down on the lower left, what we were trying to address with, I mean, it's not a huge organization, it's, you know, we're bundling some functions under different places now, but we were looking at, you know, within any organization, that span of control is very important. When you give, somebody like a county manager, you know, without these two assistant manager positions, you've got one person that's trying to monitor and support and provide management to 10 to 12 different functions. They're not all funded and we'll get there. Again, depth of expertise, there's got to be places to grow. People come into a county, they start in one function, as they develop, we've got to have some place for advancement for people. It's good organizational structure. The two assistant county manager blocks, nothing's ever clean. We started kind of looking at, you know, kind of bundling internal functions versus external operations versus admin. This is a little bit of a blend of that. But at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is set up a structure that can grow with the county. It obviously will. What's not reflected here, obviously, is are some of the needs in the other elected offices as we move forward to fill open positions. We've got to kind of integrate our priorities between what we'd like to see as commissioners under the pieces of the county that we have control over and those in the other elected offices. We can't build ourselves a little kingdom on this side and leave the other elected offices empty or overrun because they provide the bulk of the services in the county outside of road and bridge and health and human services. Reflects a lot of work, a lot of thought. I mean, it could be looked at as just blocks on a piece of paper. There's a lot more to it than that. And as we go forward with our strategic planning, this kind of allows us to task the goals and priorities we have to specific entities in the county, and those that aren't filled, we'll still figure out how to cover down on them until we can work forward to get them filled. It's a lot of work, a lot of thought.
Yeah, I think Chris summed it up very well. And if I went through my speech, I'd just be repeating what he said, so that's not very productive. One thing that this is a more conventional organizational plan, separating operations and administration. And all I can say is people that are good at operations often aren't very good at administration, and the vice versa is true. And I know in the business community, I was a great operations guy, but I was a lousy administrator. And my job didn't get easy until we divided those functions up and moved forward. Now, Chris pointed out that the real issue now is the other elected officials, of course, and figuring out how to pay for all of this. So there's still a lot of work to be done, but you got to start with an organizational concept and then work towards implementation. And now that we've got that agreed, at least in my mind, agreed upon, now it's the hard work, and that is to make it work.
Just add one more. I know I spoke a lot earlier. Some of the areas that we're moving from separate elected offices, OEM, GIS mapping, etc., under the county manager, under the OCC. The intent there is not that there was problems with the management where they were. It was just, you know, sometimes geography actually makes a difference as well. And the offices, specifically OEM, GIS, they support countywide. You know, if there's a large fire, road and bridge is out there cutting lines. There's other assets that OEM needs easier access to. GIS mapping, very similar. They've been under the assessor previously, and that's where the bulk of their work is done. But they're very important to our first responders. They're very important to planning and development. There's lots of areas throughout the county that are very important to elections. You know, nobody wants to sit on Google Earth and try to figure out where people live when they're making precincts. At least one person I know doesn't. So it just brings some of the functions that are countywide under the countywide structure.
Do
One comment I would like to make on this grant, and Chris has covered the area pretty well. We tried to address future needs of the county, that's what we're looking at, and over a period of time. But the other part that I think is really, really important to remember, that the strategic plan for the county, we've incorporated areas or divisions, but what goes on between those divisions is critical. And I speak to how people interact, and it doesn't become you're part of administration, you're part of operations. In order to make this county work effectively, and any organization to work effectively, you have to cross lines, and you have to interact with everybody on that sheet. So this doesn't create individual kingdoms or anything like this. This creates an environment where we all have to work together still. And that's what your strategic plan emphasizes, that you work as a group. So those light blue areas are really important in between those divisions. So that's just kind of my comment from past history. So, all right, now public comment on actually public comment on anything we discussed. I kind of forgot to ask that on the prior two points. Is there any public comment on anything? Bill?
I can't make it up.
Just stay there.
No,
We'll
just
give you-
one thing, can we, actually do some color coding on this thing, like elected officials in one color, hired officials in a different color? And for the elected officials, you can either put a elephant or a jackass on it, so we know their color, their affiliation, something along that line, so it helps us identify things. Thank you.
Yeah, Bill, the first row is, it isn't color coded, I understand, but the first row except,
They're all elected.
Yeah.
They're all like,
So it starts with the citizens, and then it goes directly to all of your elected officials, and filters down from there.
But we can color code it.
We
We'll
can,
probably
yeah.
leave the
we can,
politics outside of the room.
Dan,
Dan Guthrie. Do I need to identify address?
if you can.
Okay. 2667 Rawhide Drive, Elizabeth, 80107. I've been to several of these commissioner meetings and observed various different behaviors and experiences, and I want to compliment the BOCC and the rest of the organization to put this together. I think this is a first step in bringing Elbert County into the 21st century. I think you guys are well on the right track. I compliment you for your efforts.
Thank you. Any more comments?
again, you didn't use up your 3 minutes.
No. Okay, now, can we,
You know, like I said, we haven't presented this publicly more than today, but a lot of work in the background, and it really reflects the organization the three of us have control over. So I honestly think we could just make a motion to adopt this and move forward.
okay. Motion, good.
So I would move that we adopt the changes to the organizational structure that are depicted on this chart, and further, that the county manager make these changes as soon as practical. This includes the movement of GIS services, OEM, building department under the county manager, and hiring of any vacancies that are currently funded by the approved 2017 budget.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 We're starting?
All right. So, on to action items. Approval of the minutes, February 22nd.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we dispense with the reading of the minutes and approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
County manager policy. Been working on this for a while. Okay. Can I entertain a motion to accept it?
Yeah.
little discussion?
But I would move that we adopt the county manager policy as it was presented.
I second that motion, and I'd like to make a comment or two when it's appropriate.
Okay, well, what we'll do is, seeing this part, we'll ask for public comment first, and then we'll go to,
I think that's.
how's that? Okay, on our county manager policy, it's been out there for a while, we've been working on it, so is there any comments on the county manager policy? Comments?
My comment kind of goes back to Marlene Roskin, 3300 comment goes back to my earlier, conversation and comment, and that is just that we would also have a line item or an expectation in transparency, openness, whatever you want to call it, to the citizens, not just in the county manager, but in all positions.
Thank you. Any other comments? Board comment?
Yeah, like I said, it's a good policy. I think we streamlined a lot of the things that were characterized as fluff. Acts that really focus on the duties, responsibilities, interactions for that position. The funding piece has been streamlined quite a bit, I believe. There were a couple of, did note that there were a couple of just paragraph numbering issues that easily corrected. The substance was perhaps wasn't concerned.
Good. Grant?
Yeah, I guess it has to do with a lifetime as an engineer. I guess my comment was flush the fluff, is get rid of it. If it doesn't meet, if it's not meaningful and useful, then we need to take it out. And some of the old policy reflected prior commissioners' views. And what we've tried to do is boil it down to